You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in to The Lyndia Grant Show. We are here every Friday, and it is June 12th, and I'm so happy to have you here with us. And we're celebrating our anniversary this month, and Dr. Julianne Malvo is going to be talking to us about the election. I don't know. It seems like we've been having a lot of elections this year, more than usual, unless I just hadn't been paying attention, because they come all kinds of times. But we had another election. And then in my second half, we're going to be talking to Children's Legacy Theater. It's a Black theater group in Southeast DC. And they're doing a play called The Meeting about Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X meeting back in the day. And I think it's going to be exciting. So, Dr. J, talk to us about what happened, what's going on, all of it.
All of it. It's a lot of it.
About 12 minutes.
Okay. On Wednesday, the inflation numbers were released. And they tell us what everybody who's listening already knows. Prices are still too high. Paychecks are being stretched. The economy does not feel good. When the president took office in January of 2025, inflation was 3%. Now the May Consumer Price Index is 4.2%, up some 30% from a year ago. So that means everybody's being pushed some kind of way. Why is this happening? Primarily because of the war in Iran. But the inflation, it affects everything, Lyndia. Rent, groceries, gas, medicine, childcare, and anxiety. When presidents play with fire abroad, we feel it here at home. And so what we also know as of now is that in addition to all of this, we know that just in the past week, there has been more drama. Iran supposedly shot down a U.S. Apache helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz. 2 crew members were rescued and are reportedly stable, but now the United States is retaliating. So one thing they've done is bombed a dam, which basically supplies the water for thousands of people. So now they've been cut back from water. And this is how it goes. One attack, one retaliation, da-da-da. Meanwhile, the president says that Iran, they've been having talks with Iran. Then he says they're not because Iran is dragging its feet. Basically, we are playing with fire. That's all I can say is playing with fire. And this story is not over. It's not going to be over anytime soon. Meanwhile, on June the 4th, the Congress had a lot of conversation talked about cutting budgets. They're in a markup period. And one of the things they're looking at is the WIC bill. WIC is Women, Infants, and Children's. Children, rather, excuse me, yes. But basically, they want to cut it by $200 million. What it means at the micro level is a child who is now between 1 and 5 today gets a benefit of $26 in WIC benefits per month. They want to cut it down to $10. A lot of people say, well, $16 is not that much money. Well, if you don't have that much money, $16 is a lot of money. So we're spending millions, even billions on this war in Iran, but we can't afford $200 million for children. So what kind of country cuts milk for babies while funding billions for militarism? Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I talked to you before about my trip to Cuba, but on Tuesday, that some members of the delegation, we had a press conference at the National Press Club, moderated by IBW's Institute of the Black World's Louis Romaine and led by Dr. Ron Daniels. Some of the people who spoke, Milton Alamati, Ife Williams, Mel Foote, and many others. Just everybody reported back on what we saw and what we heard and the things that Cuban people are dealing with, hardship, but resilience. But ordinary people should not be pushed for policies. People are starving in the United States, people are starving in Cuba. One of the things that hit me as we were in the middle of this press conference was in 1959, Fidel Castro said that every child should have at least a quart of milk per day. Every
Mm-hmm.
child. Milk is important for bone development and all of that. Um, Now we're looking at the United States, so-called advanced country, and we're talking about cutting children's milk. I mean, how do we put those? And we've escalated our attacks on Cuba. They're not military attacks yet, although they keep threatening. But the blockade has tightened. You now cannot use MasterCard or Visa in Cuba. Um, but I just, the contrast is between Fidel saying, give the children milk, and the United States saying, let's take some of the milk from the children. So budgets are moral documents, and that's kind of the point I want to make as we talk about this, what we're funding. We're funding immigration enforcement money, billions of dollars for ICE, border support, and deportation. So there's money somewhere. Cut the ICE money by 10% and restore the money to the children and to the mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the question is not whether or not we can afford WIC. It's why cruelty is so well funded and care is so underfunded. So I'll just leave that with inflation, Iran, food for babies. Now, just to pivot a bit, the Carmelo Anthony case in Frisco, Texas, has made national headlines. Carmelo was a black teenager who was found guilty of fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf, a white boy, during a high school track meet. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison. There is evidence that the Metcalf young man pushed Carmelo Anthony at least twice. He walked into a tent because it was raining. The meet had been postponed. They told him to get out of the tent. He wouldn't go. Now, I don't know why the boy had a knife on him. That's something to question. But 35 years? He says it was self-defense, but they didn't put him on the stand. Prosecutors say he was murdered. The jury, the all-white jury, let me say,
Mm-hmm.
rejected the defense argument, 35 years in prison. However, this is an opportunity for an appeal, is opportunity for mobilization. I would call Ben Crump right now
Mm-hmm.
if I were his parents. But this is a tragedy all around. A 17-year-old boy did not deserve to be killed, but he needed to learn. His mama didn't teach him to keep his hands to himself.
Mm-hmm.
And the 18-year-old boy does not deserve life in prison. They could have gone with manslaughter. They could have gone with a number of things. They gave almost the harshest penalty, and for murder 5 years to, well, he could have been sentenced as low as 5 years, as many as 99.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There we have it. Now I'm gonna move on because we had elections on Tuesday, and the Democrats are desperately trying to take the Senate back. There's a possibility, but one lane is very, very wobbly, and that's a lane in Maine, where Graham Plattner won the Senate nomination. He'll face Susan Collins, who's a Republican who occasionally votes with Democrats, but not that often. The issue with Graham Plattner is he's just got a dirty, 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 dirty background. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he has a Nazi tattoo on his chest that he said he didn't know was a Nazi tattoo. All right. Some of his ex-girlfriends have come through and said he was not a batterer, but one he said he locked her in a room and wouldn't let her out until she calmed down. None of them describes her in, glowing terms. But anyway, this is but one case, one race rather. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, the Republicans are going to make a lot of it. They're going to say stuff like, you don't like some people's behavior, but you're willing to put up with him. But I'll tell you, we have a president who had to pay millions for sexual harassment. I'm not going to do oranges and apples here, but I will just simply say Graham Plattner is a problem. Now, in other elections, California, the numbers have come up. Of course, Karen Bass will be facing Mithya,
Mm-hmm.
another Republican who's on the city council.
Yeah.
Um, that's going to be challenging. We had hoped that she would be facing the reality show star because it would be a clear contrast. Here, there's not a contrast, and Karen is going to have to work for this. But I know Karen is a dear friend. She's going to work for it, and she deserves to be continue to be the mayor of Los Angeles. In California, also with the governor's race, Javier Becerra is leading, and there is a Republican who is 1 and 2. Some of us had hoped that Tom Steyer, a Democrat with a lot of money, spent over $217 million, Lyndia, to
Mm-hmm.
get onto the ballot. But he came in number 3. So it'll be Javier. It will be the number 2 Republican who's been endorsed by Trump. So we're going to have to look very carefully at this race, and California is going to have to try to step up if they can.
One
You
more
know,
minute.
one more minute, so I would give you the fun facts. We always got to have a fun fact, right?
Yes.
So that man who lives in a house that enslaved people built is the first president to attend an NBA game at Madison Square Garden, and the first president to be booed. Hey, yes, he was booed, but you know what?
Even his car riding through town was booed.
It was signs. People had signs, but this part is spectacle. It's really spectacle. People are tired of his drama, tired of him, tired of the strongman language. I hope that the boos turn into ballots.
I do too.
How everybody who booed goes to a ballot box and makes sure that we do the right thing for the midterm elections in November. So
All
that's
right.
it for me, Lyndia.
Well, thank you. That was good. I enjoyed that. We'll talk to you again next week, and I'm glad you had a good trip to China.
Cuba.
Cuba. I'm sorry, I didn't mean China. Cuba, yes.
But I'm glad you mentioned that. Give me 30 seconds just to say we can't talk to communist Cuba, but we do talk to communist China.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
think about that. All righty. I'm gone.
All right.
Take care.
All right. We'll go to our commercial break, and we'll be back in a moment.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated Montgomery bus. In lectures on brotherhood, Ms. Parks often said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired." But that wasn't true. I was not tired physically. I was not old. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. Driven out of Montgomery by harassment and death threats, Detroit, Michigan became her new home. Rosa Parks will always be remembered as the mother of the civil rights movement. Raised in the AME church, she once said, "I remember finding such comfort and peace while reading the Bible."
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at washingtoninformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
This is Frank Smith with the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., located at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest on the Green Line. Did you know that a recent study found that children who visit museums do better in school and in life than children who do not? So parents, teachers, and preachers, let's get moving. I promise you, if you bring your children to the African American Civil War Museum, they will be inspired by the images that they see. They will be impressed by our living history reenactors who are always available, and they will be involved in our scavenger hunt that takes them throughout our exhibit. That's the African American Civil War Museum, 1925 Vermont Avenue. Our hours are 10 to 6:30 on weekdays, 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. See it. Be inspired.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show. We are here this afternoon with a group that's a theatrical group of young people out of Southeast Washington, D.C. They are associated with my friend Nana Malaya Rucker of Parabea. And so I have some young people that's going to come on and talk to you all about a play that's coming up soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show. This is our second guest. Now let's go to Zakaria and tell us all about this and tell us when the play is, who's starring in it, what is. You all got the floor.
Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Zakaria Manigault. I am in the 11th grade, currently 17 years old, and I am currently working with Children's Legacy Theater as the director, so the head in charge. I am currently working with my best actors, best team members, best crew members to help put on an amazing production. This upcoming production is called The Meeting. It's a meeting between Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. It is to be performed at Bard Early College High School in Southeast Washington, D.C. at about 6 p.m., I believe.
6:30.
At about 6:30 p.m., the show will take place. And the show is between June 19th through the 22nd, I believe. June 19th through the 21st. My apologies. And it will be held at Bard Early College High School at 6:30 p.m. Like I said before, I'm the director, so I have been working with an amazing group of young people to put on an amazing production. I have been working with Children's Legacy Theater, or CLT, as we say, for about, I want to say 4 years, going on 5. Participating in theater has always been something that has been my biggest passion whatsoever. So when I was offered the chance to come work with Children's Legacy Theater, it was probably the most eye-opening experience for me ever. We have been working hard for the past 4 to 5 months. I'm sorry, for more like the past 3 to 4 months, trying to put on an amazing production. Children's Legacy Theater has always been something that I have always been involved in. I love Miss Jackie Carter, who is our director for the entire program and our entire corporation. She has led me here so far, and she has given me so many amazing opportunities to be able to perform and share not only historical stories told by the youth, but also to tell it from another point of view, to get a new perspective. And that's what I truly believe Children's Legacy Theater is all about. Being able to take the perspective of the youth, which is probably one of the biggest perspectives you will ever get, being able to take the perspective of the youth and broadcast it live for everyone to see, for everyone to hear, and for other people to be able to not only recognize that we also have a voice and that we're able to tell a story, but to also know that they should be able to hear us, and they should be able to see us and be able to donate to us and to help us in any way possible. So I absolutely love Children's Legacy Theater, and I would like to turn over to one of my amazing actors named Morris Washington, and now he'll tell you a little bit about Children's Legacy Theater, a little bit about himself, and how he got into the program.
Well, before we go to him, answer for me the summary of the play so that the guests who are listening to the show, what is the gist of what the play is going to be about? And then we'll talk to him.
Well, the play takes place in Harlem, New York. We kind of open up a big scene of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. This play is supposed to be a meeting, them meeting with each other. So it's called The Meeting because they're having a meeting with each other where they finally get to meet up together and to discuss the things that have been happening in that time and how they plan to move forward. They basically are coming together to not only discuss how they're moving forward, but to also give each other a new perspective to how they feel about each other and how they feel about each other's methods to segregation, discrimination, and trying their hardest for civil rights for African American people.
And is there is it a made up story or is it based on facts?
This is a imaginary story that we are putting on. It's basically we are putting on this production because we want to show what we believe the meeting will be, like how we would believe that the meeting would come together. Because they didn't meet in real life, so we want to show how we believe the meeting will be, and it is written by Jeff Stetson.
Okay. All right, now we'll go to your star, one of your stars.
Hello, my name is Morris Washington, and I'll be playing Malcolm X in the upcoming Play the Meeting.
Oh my goodness, my son is gonna love you. He named his baby Malcolm after Malcolm X. You young people gonna tear it up.
Mm-hmm. I was first introduced to Children's Legacy Theater last summer, and I feel like Children's Legacy Theater is like a way to stay out of trouble and learn life lessons and learn things that happened in the past we may not know about. We recently did a production about Akhenaten and the Egyptians and all of that, and I never knew anything about that. But with Children's Legacy Theater, they taught me ways to, research, connect that to my character, and how to perform that and how to just be myself. This is an amazing opportunity for me for being Malcolm X because I never got the main role in the play, and I want to thank Children's Legacy Theater for giving me the opportunity. Children's Legacy Theater also is very welcoming. We're like a family. We all get along. And yeah, basically that's it. It's just like it's an amazing place to be at. I mean,
And
everyone loves it here.
who do I ask about tickets? Nana Malaya or the producer?
Well, actually, how you doing?
All right, good to see you, my friend.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm pleased to be working with Children's Legacy Theater. I just want to mention some information in terms of the play. It was actually written in 1987, and it still is pertinent today because so many of the issues, of course, have not only bubbled up, but they haven't actually been resolved. So the meeting that they have, the conversations they have are still related to what's going on today. And I've been working with with Miss Mecca here with the production team, but I've also been a choreographer and director for them for a few years. But tickets can be purchased online at children'slegacytheater.org. And Miss Mecca might have some additional information on how people can reserve tickets.
Okay, very good. And tell them how much the tickets are, and make sure you give them the address. And tell them if they can get the tickets in advance or they're paying at the door. Tell them all of that.
Yes, we absolutely will. So yes, I know the address. Yes, thank you. We do apologize. That was a slight error on my part for not informing Nana Malaya. We have not set the Eventbrite up yet. However, the show is free and open to the public. It is free 99, and we welcome everyone to come. It is again, the show opens on June 19th at 6:30 p.m. 1351 Alabama Avenue, Southeast DC 20032. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Jackie Carter at 202-710-7819. Again, that is the meeting, which will debut at Bard College Early Learning Center High School, at 1351 Alabama Avenue on June 19th at 6:30 p.m. Juneteenth it is. And I just have to caveat this, Mama Grant, because last year, these youth, I had the blessed opportunity. They performed Fannie Lou Hamer on the Kennedy Millennium Stage Theater.
I remember that.
Yes, you promoted us last year. And so what I want to say is I am exuberantly excited to see what these youth bring to the stage, because whatever stereotypes and other nice fighting we have to do here in DC for our youth, these youth get on the stage and show you something different. And they show you that they're listening. They may not listen how we want them to, but our youth are listening, and they are drawing dreams in the air because someone cares.
Amen. I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
My goodness, this is beautiful. I just want to see if Nana Malaya have any closing comments before we see if it's anything they left out.
Okay, 1 second. Can Morris have one more minute?
Yeah, he can have a closing comment.
Okay, thank you.
We got about 3 or 4 more minutes.
Okay.
I want to say one more thing. As we know, Black history is not taught in schools anymore. And we're basically showing this play. We're showing this play so we can basically inform younger children like us who was Martin Luther King, who was Malcolm X, and why they thought this way, and why they wanted freedom, and why they wanted Black rights. So we're basically just informing the younger youth of what we learned before they cut off the Black history in schools.
It's so necessary. It's so good. I talk about that on my show all the time.
Yeah.
Malaya?
Yeah, the last comment I'll give is that Children's Legacy Theater has been a stalwart in the community, especially Ward 8, for over 30 years. Jackie Carter is an amazing director and her vision. And one of the things we make sure we provide information so that our children, not only the arts records history, but also the art saves lives. And that's what we're here to do. We're to save lives. We also have them not only performing on stage as actors and singers and dancers, but they're also working backstage. They're working lights, they're working props.
Oh, yeah, I
So
remember
they're
they do it
learning
all.
everything backstage as well. So we're giving them the whole well-rounded experience. And this is a student-run production. So they're the focus, and they're learning how to do all the things we need them to do. So when we can step back, they got it.
Let Jackie know I said hello. I met her back in the 1990s when she was working at the Lincoln Theater.
Look at the kids. The kids went aback on us, Mama Grant.
Is she there? I didn't know. She was at the Lincoln Theater talking about how scared she was that day, and I was giving her a pep talk, and so we've been friends ever. Huh?
I said we'll remind her.
Yes.
You know, and it's good for the young people to hear that everybody needs encouragement.
Oh, she was nervous. I was telling her how to handle the people at the Lincoln Theater because she had just gotten that job there, and I said they don't know, and she told me that made so much difference.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for having us. And these wonderful students are going to do a wonderful production June 19th, 20th, and 21st at Bard Early College High School, 1351 Alabama Avenue, Southeast
DC.
And it's free 99.
Free 99. And please, if you have any questions, 6:30 p.m. the show opens.
$3.99.
$3.00, Mama Grant. Free
I
00.
thought you were saying free. You saying FREE.
Yeah, oh, that's the saying. Yes, free 99 is that's what the kids say.
Okay,
free
that
99.
means free. That means
free, absolutely free.
I've never heard it. I'm just trying to
to
make sure people out there listening know, because I didn't know. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It's absolutely free. And if you have any questions, please feel free. You can visit us at our website, Children's Legacy Theater 8, or again, please feel free to reach out to Miss Jackie Carter at 202-710-7819. Again.
And tell them what time it starts again.
6:30 p.m. The youth of Children's Legacy Theater will be here to put on one of the best shows you have ever seen.
Doors open at what time?
At 6 p.m.
All right. So they don't have long. They need to be out there waiting when the doors open. Thank you so much for you all being my guest today.
Thank you, Mama Grant.
All
and
right,
we'll talk with you with the next production, a 10-minute play festival coming up in July.
All right. You've been listening you've been listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. That does it for this week's show. Good day.
You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.